All right, so we're live now. We're waiting for our next person here, and so we'll start here in just a couple of minutes, Amber.
Sounds good.
Yeah, they don't know the exports MP4 either. So all we got up here.
I get to be the main focus?
Mm-hmm. You're right now because you're going to be on the webcam.
Amber, you're killing me not having a webcam. Come on.
I'm sorry. Can I do it on my iPhone?
I don't know. You might be able to, but now everybody's just watching me. I'm kind of feeling a little self-conscious here.
All right, you took a picture of it.
So, you know, I work for the Royals, and I got my World Series ring, and so all these guys are back here wanting selfies with the World Series ring.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's so cool.
It's pretty neat.
What I'm going to do, I'm going to edit the name and put mine on there. Send it to me, I can do that.
Look what I got.
That is awesome.
Huh. Show it off on the webcam.
Boom.
If you can't have fun with it, what's the fun of having it?
Thanks, Rob.
Exactly.
Or use it one too.
When we got engaged 2 years ago, we got engaged at AT&T Park on the field. So that day they were giving out replica rings from, I forget which World Series it was. It was when they played the Cleveland Indians. So I got 2 rings that day.
Nice.
I'm sure mine's not as cool as yours, though.
It's still a ring. So we'll go ahead and get started, and when Caitlin gets on, we'll get her involved as well. So our first guest is Amber DeLillo Diskin from Las Vegas and iProperties International. Amber, tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got started in real estate, and a little bit about your 2015 and what you want in 2016.
Well, I've been in the business for 13 years. I got licensed at 19 years old, and I actually got into it because of my family. We purchased our first home, and when I was 18, and the agent, she sucked. She was just, I don't know, just not professional. I was like, oh my gosh, like I would take care of people because I like helping people, and I don't know, she just kind of wasn't too fabulous. So my father-in-law was like, you should look into it. I think you'd be great at that. So I did, and then I did all the schooling and everything, got licensed. And I'm sorry, what was the next question? What was the next thing I'm supposed to talk about?
Your 2015 in review and kind of your 2016 goals.
Okay, so last year I did pretty well. I think I was like 4 or 5 million in sales. This year I'd like to do more, so, and I'm on track to do that because Vegas is doing really well right now. So yeah, that's that.
And tell us a little bit about your family. You have how many kids?
So between my husband and I, we have 4 boys. They are 11, 2 14-year-olds, and an almost 13-year-old.
So you're busy.
So I'm the only female in my house, besides my doggy.
And besides, what are you passionate about outside of this?
Hello.
Are you there? Can you hear me? I think we might have lost Amber. So hopefully we'll get Caitlin on. She just sent me a message that she was logging in right now. So should be any second here, and hopefully Amber gets reconnected. And I'm getting quotes from getting things from the people watching that it's riveting. We have a riveting conversation happening right now. Thank you. So we'll just take a pause here, and as soon as one of those two hops back on, we'll get back and to answering questions. So any questions from those that are telling me my face is getting redder and that you love me?
Hi, I'm back.
Hey, welcome back. They're all making fun of
Sorry.
me. That's okay. So we'll pick right back up where we were. What are you passionate about outside of real estate?
Well, spending time with the kids, doing activities with the kids. Right now my son's playing baseball and he's actually on the Giants, so yay. Right now, just, when I'm not being a real estate agent, I'm being a mom.
Cool. What was one of your biggest struggles getting started?
I stigmatized myself because I was 19, so I kept, I kind of put a burden on myself. I was like, oh, no one's going to want to use me because I'm technically a teenager. So that hurt me. Instead of having the confidence and, jumping into it, I had a slow start. But I did have family to support me. So, but that was my struggle. I hurt myself.
While we're waiting for Caitlin, tell us a little bit about what you're doing with YPN in Las Vegas.
Well, this year I'm the chair, and we are doing a little bit more than we did last year, which is exciting, but a lot at the same time. So we just had a roast of our past president, which was for our PAC, and it was amazing. It was so much fun. We actually had, we teamed up with Political Affairs, the Political Affairs Committee to do it. So YPN had seat cushions made of the past president's face, so he was the butt of a lot of jokes. And we ended up raising $20,000 for our PAC, so it was a huge success. And then our award ceremony for our 40 under 40 that we do every year is coming up in a few weeks. We also do some charities, so twice a year we volunteer our time and resources at the St. Jude's Ranch for it's not the kids that are sick, it's the kids that are abused and neglected. They have a ranch out here in town. We go there in the summer and we do a big water day and a big barbecue with them, and then for Christmas we throw them a Christmas party and we fulfill their wish list. And Santa comes and we get a lot of volunteers, and it's a really, really rewarding thing to do, and the kids are just so grateful because they're not used to that. And so yeah, we have a lot going on. I'm the chair this year. I don't know if I mentioned that. So
The YPN chairs are pretty awesome.
Oh, thanks.
I might be a little biased on that, but looks like Caitlin's joining us. Hi, Caitlin. Can you hear us? I see her. There we go.
There we go.
All right.
Hi,
Welcome, Caitlin.
Hello.
Amber's on the phone with us.
Hi.
So, Caitlin, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, how you got started in real estate.
Sure. So my name is Caitlin Williams. I'm with Keller Williams Portland Central in Portland, Oregon. I have been in the business for 6 years now, and it flew by very quickly. And actually, my husband was supposed to be the realtor in the family, and I ended up taking that over. He would have lasted about 2 seconds in the industry.
So tell us a little bit about your 2015 and your 2016 goals.
2015, I was just shy of my goals of $5 million in sales, and this year I'm looking to triple that. So $15 million is my goal this year, and I'm about a third of the way there, almost a third of the way there. So I'm almost on track to hit my goals for the year, which is exciting.
So you've already sold in the first 3.5 months what you did all of last year?
Yes, I did.
That's pretty awesome. So.
Yes.
Outside of real estate, what are you passionate about?
Outside of real estate, I have 2 little kiddos, so I'm passionate about my 2 little kids, which are 5 and 1. And then I'm really involved with the local DHS and the foster community. I volunteer with a program called Foster Parents Night Out, which gives parents just a break from kids and life to just go and have 4 hours to themselves. Being a parent myself, I just know the value of taking time out for yourself and to recharge and regenerate and to just take time away from your kids and be able to be refreshed when you get back to them. So
that's awesome. So well, tell me, what was one of your biggest struggles starting out in real estate?
my biggest struggle looking back on it was probably being able to clearly articulate my value proposition. I was really good with buyers. I definitely struggled with sellers though. Sellers, interviewing a couple of different agents at the same time, and I really struggled with that, I would say.
Cool. So Amber, tell us a little bit about your local real estate market. What's happening in Las Vegas right now?
Right now, things are good. We've been climbing out of our hole. Well, we're out of our hole, and anything under 300,000 it's selling quickly. We have, I think, like 8% distress. So we're doing really well now.
Awesome. Caitlin, what about the Portland market?
The Portland market has been in the news a lot lately. We're one of the biggest, one of the highest move to states and cities in the nation. Definitely a seller's market. We have a huge turnover rate. A lot of people looking to downsize. So single level, smaller homes are in huge demand right now with move down sellers as well as first time buyers or people looking to get back into the market after foreclosures or short sales may have had to happen. It's very tricky for buyers right now. I won't lie about that.
Sounds like Kansas City.
Yeah.
So where do you get most of your buyers from?
Dummy.
Yeah.
Most of my buyers come from referral sources. I'm about 85% referral based, and I'd also say I've been getting a lot of leads coming from my website. I really spent some time and some money to put in some effort into my website and some online marketing, so finally seeing some success from that.
What about you, Amber? Where do most of your buyers come from?
Mine mostly referrals, past clients. I started doing some open houses because when I did them in the past, I wasn't really good at them and never really turned anything. So I was like, you know, try it again and change some things up. And I've had some good success with that. But mainly referrals, friends, family, which are my favorite.
So what did you change up about your open houses that's allowing you to be a little bit more successful with them?
I think it was mainly the confidence because for years I didn't do them because when I first got in the business and started doing them, I didn't have the confidence at all. So I think it was just the confidence, knowing how to talk to people. That's basically it.
Awesome. So Amber, when you meet with a buyer initially, what kinds of questions do you ask them?
I always try to get to know them, like almost. I always. Sorry, I'm getting distracted here because I'm in my car. I always try to kind of like break the ice, make a joke, lighten the mood, and I try to fill them out and figure out, because a lot of them, if it's an internet lead, I guess I should say, I always try to figure out like their personality type so that I know how to communicate with them. So, but if it's a friend or family referral, it's a lot easier. But first, you know, I want to know where they're at, what their goals are, how quickly they want to move, if they're already working with a lender, things like that.
Caitlin, any specific questions that you ask a buyer?
Yeah, just backing off of what Amber said, knowing what their goals are, knowing what price range they're looking in. Portland kind of has a lot of microcosms, a lot of suburb areas or downtown area, you know, so there's a lot that can kind of appeal to a lot of different buyers. So really just what if they need to be close to their job, what type of lifestyle they want to have, and that can help me narrow down, especially if they've just moved to the area. And I always, always, always do a buyer consult and make sure they're pre-approved before I even take them out to show homes. That's kind of a personal rule of mine.
So
I actually just had, Kyle, I actually just had a client call me off of one of my listings, and he was kind of frustrated because I wouldn't just jump and meet him. And I said, look, it's more of a safety issue, because I was asking him if he's pre-approved or if he's doing cash, trying to figure out his situation. And I can tell he was really irritated with me that I wouldn't just jump and show him. But, you know, I have to think of safety first, and, like, what are your motives to, you know, are you a buyer? Are you just a looky-loo? So.
So what expectations do you guys set for your buyers? Is there anything that you say, hey, this is what's going to happen? How do you set those expectations?
Yeah, so when I'm meeting,
Caitlin?
sure, when I'm meeting with them in that first initial buyer consultation, again, it's a safety precaution, like Amber said. It's also to set those expectations, to go through that process. I'd say most of my buyers are first-time home buyers, or it's been so long since they've bought a home that just refreshing them with the process, telling them what to expect, the process, the timeline, what I'm going to do for them, and also what I expect from them as well. I'm putting out a lot of time, energy, effort to be able to show them homes, you know, and maybe not everybody knows that we are working without getting paid right up front, but that's why we do what we do, and it's a rewarding process. So I am probably one of those rare agents that don't do the buyer broker agreement. Here and there I will. I want to work with people who are similar to me and who are going to give me that respect and that trust. So a lot of people probably are not super crazy about me not doing that, but that's just how I run my business.
I'm actually the same. I don't do it either. I basically leave it open. I let them know that, you know, I guide, they direct. So if they don't like the house, I don't like the house. So, you know, I tell them that's not going to break my heart if you don't like this house. We can go on to the next one, because you have to live here, not me. If you love it, I love it.
That's awesome. So speaking of houses, how do you guys find the houses for your clients? Set up web searches, personal searches. How do you find the houses for them?
It's
Most
really
of that.
Go ahead, Ember.
Sorry. For me, I'll set them up on a drip. It depends on the client too. Most of them I will put on, we have Matrix. I don't know what you guys have, but I'll put them on there. We actually just switched over, and I really love it because I can see when they're on. I can see what they like and don't like. It's great. But right now, like later on today, I'm meeting a buyer who's looking in the 700,000 range. So I had handpicked some. I didn't want to just send them a bunch of emails and say, here, pick some houses. So, you know, I did my best to tailor it to exactly what they are looking for. Because with the high-end buyers, it's better that way than just bombarding them with emails. But then you have other clients who they want to see everything. So, and one cool feature about Matrix is they can actually do their own searches as well. And so I can see what they're changing, because I have a fun little saying that I only share with agents. I don't tell clients this, but, you know, buyers are liars and sellers are storytellers. So usually they're saying, I want this and I want that, and then they end up buying something totally different. So.
True story. Yeah, and as far as me for my clients and how I help them find the houses, it's so tricky with all of the apps and the technology that is available at their fingertips. Essentially, they have the same information we do. We get, you know, the private information from listing agents and some additional information, but you know, I do have my clients on an auto drip. You know, they'll get the notifications of a property that comes up the second that I do. So I make sure that both of us are aware of new properties at the same time. There's not a huge slew of properties for us to look at one time. So we're kind of just picking out properties here and there, unfortunately, with how the market is right now. And I do a lot of networking. I do a lot of door knocking. I do a lot of open houses, and so I really try and find homes that are going to be listed for sale in that sense, and try and find things that aren't on the MLS if I can.
Cool.
I get quite a few. Sorry, I get quite a few clients who they'll be, oh, I found this on Zillow. I found that on Zillow, and I always try to prepare them and say, look, you know, what you're
Maybe
finding
not
on
there.
Zillow, chances. Right. Well, it's usually under contract, and you don't see that until you send it to me, and I tell you, and then I say, you know, whatever I send you, it just hit the market. It fits what you're looking for. So I'm going to be more accurate than Zillow.
Yeah.
So what do you prepare for your buyers when you're about to go show them? How much paperwork do you give? What do you give them to tell them about the properties you're going to go see?
I usually will print out the sheet. I do have a form that I can attach to the back so they can make notes. So I'll usually give them the MLS sheet that has everything, and then I'll tell them, you know, feel free to make notes, take notes, because, you know, I see so many houses, chances are when you say, hey, remember that one house that had that weird color carpet, like I may not remember it. So that's usually what I give them.
There's houses with weird colored carpet?
Oh. What do I bring?
Out here, you never know what you're going to find.
Oh. We have a lot of old houses and see some really wonky things sometimes. I prepare snacks. I like snacks in my car. My clients like snacks. My clients have kids, so I don't know. I just prepare things like a mom does. Let's see. I use Cloud CMA, and that has a really good buyer printout sheet with just really basic information about the house, and then like the first dozen pictures of the house. And I also include, like Amber said, a notes page with each of the properties and a couple of lines. I mean, every buyer is very different, and I try and cater to the type of personality that they are. Some people are note takers, some people are visual, some people like me just like snacks. So.
Me too. So do you take them in your car or theirs, or does it depend?
I'm a high D. Don't take me out of control. I'm not running in their car.
Me too. I'm
they
a
follow
control
you?
freak.
Yeah. I'd say half the time I take clients with me, or I'll meet them at the property. And I like driving them so that they can take a look at the neighborhoods. I work with a lot of people moving in from out of town. So, yeah, I like driving my own car.
Me too. And I tell them I'll get car sick, because I really will. So, but it's mainly because I'm a control freak. So I like to have them in my car. Sometimes they'll want to follow me, but I try to get them in my car. That way we can talk and get to know each other more, and kind of just keep building that rapport.
So what do you do with your clients to keep them focused on one house instead of trying to compare every house to each other? Like if they see 10 houses, they're comparing all 10 houses. Any tips or tricks to get them focused on one? Does that make sense?
Yes. If they have a house that I can tell stands out to them, I will just keep bringing it up. And, well, remember this house has this and that. But everyone's so different, so it's so hard, because I'll have some people that will say, okay, number 1 is out, but I'm still liking 2 and 3, and then we'll go to number 5, and they'll be like, all right, number 2 and 3 are out. And so it really just depends on the client.
And I'd say in our market, it's pretty rare for me overall to show a client more than 10 to 15 houses. And even when there's an abundance of houses available, you know, if we look at 2 or 3 in a day, we'll recap, we'll grab a coffee afterwards, and just go over those. I'll grab my laptop or iPad, and we'll go over the visuals, you know, the pictures again, and totally eliminate all 3 of them if we need to just move on. So just I try and help them just say, okay, let's just get these out of your head, and we'll move forward with the next set of houses. Because there's a reason they're not jumping on that particular group of houses, for a reason. And then next, forget about it. We'll do better next time.
So in Kansas City, we're having lots of multiple offers. What advice do you give your clients when you know that there's going to be a multiple offers on the house that they really love?
This is like my favorite thing to talk about right now. Again, starting way back at that pre-buyer consultation, making sure they're pre-approved, talking to them about the different loan options and those positives and minuses. We're seeing some appraisal issues right now because of so many multiple offers. It's It's common for houses minimally to sell for $30,000, $40,000 over the list price, even at the $225,000 price range. So I just have to prepare them for that. You know, what you see online on these apps is not what it's going to sell for. So just making sure that I'm preparing them for that. Sometimes we need to write love letters for the houses. Sometimes I've gone as far as making cute little videos of families and kids and, you know, what they like about the house. I mean, gosh, I see everything, especially from the listing side. So I kind of steal things from other agents, borrow. I rip off and borrow from other agents on, like, hey, that was a really good idea, and I'm going to use that for, you know, one of my buyer clients.
The love letters, awesome. I've actually had agents come back to me and say, you know, because of that, we put you at the top, because no one else did it. And I've been up against many different offers, and they would consider ours. But I try to be realistic with people and say, look, this is what I think the home is going to appraise for, and if you really love this home and you want it, we need to make a strong, clean offer.
Do either of you use, this is a question from some people watching here at KCRR, do either of you use an escalation clause? Are you guys familiar with that?
Yeah, I will use them here and there, not all the time. I really try, or I call the listing agent and kind of get a feel for them. If they're pretty old school, a lot of old school agents don't like escalation clauses. I love them. It gets the highest and best price from my seller and from the listing agent. I really just try and read the listing agent. I ask, will the seller accept an escalation clause? And then anytime I can use one, I'll use one, absolutely. It doesn't always fly for that particular situation, seller, that kind of a thing. So I tailor every buyer offer.
I don't have a comment on that. I haven't used that. Yeah, no, sorry.
It's starting to get used a lot here in Kansas City because of the multiple offers. So, so what's your process, Amber? Once you get the house under contract, how do you communicate with the buyer and keep it on track to close on time?
Well, again, it kind of depends on the buyer, because I have some that they'd rather text. I have some that, you know, want to talk on the phone for hours, and I have some, you know, that prefer email. So it really depends on them. But what I'll do initially, once we open escrow, is I'll have a conversation with them and say, all right, this is the next step, and I'll go through everything and, you know, just keep on it. I'll set reminders for myself because I sometimes get easily distracted. So, and then I'll get in touch with their lender right away, and if I'm not already in touch with their lender, and, you know, make sure to get everything started and just keep on everyone. I'm a little bit of a control freak, so I'm really hands-on. Like, I don't have a transaction coordinator. I do it all, and I'm having a hard time letting go and delegating those types of things.
So, Kaylin, going from 5 to 15 million this year, you're going to have some more challenges with this. What are you doing to prepare yourself for getting people from under contract to closing?
Yeah, and I was going to say I didn't know how Amber operated either. I'm an individual agent. The goal is to add an assistant probably fall time this year. I know I'm human and I can't handle everything myself. But again, a control freak myself. But knowing that there's so many people involved in the transaction, the buyer, the seller, me and the listing agent, the lender, the title company, just making sure everybody is looped in at the same time. I tend to go on the over-communication side of things to make sure that everybody's aware of everything that's going on. I do have a process. It used to be a paper file process, you know, keeping track that way, but once things got so mobile and so easy, you know, I used Dropbox and I used Dotloop. Anything that can make sure that I have the paperwork, the file, the details with me wherever I am, because gosh, I'm only at my office 20% of the time, I would say. You know, I'm just on the road all the time, so yeah.
Cool. Do you guys give closing gifts, and what's a typical closing gift for you?
I do. I love giving closing gifts. I used to put together baskets, and then I found this company, Cutco. I don't know if anyone's familiar with them, and they engrave the knives and everything. They're a little on the pricey side, but I think they're totally worth it, and I get a lot of positive feedback from it. So sometimes I make gifts, and sometimes I'll give them a knife set from Cutco.
Cool.
Yeah, and absolutely, always closing gifts. And I've used Cutco before. I tailor it to what the client's tastes are. I'll always do some kind of a move-in food, again with the food thing. Something for breakfast. A lot of families like to go and stay the night and do sleeping bags the night that they close on their house. So always some kind of food or something that they can munch on while they're just sitting in their house while it's vacant. I'll do sometimes I'll do like a family membership to our local zoo or children's museum if they're family, movie tickets to some really cool theaters downtown, just something that they can use to explore their town and get to know their community is kind of big for me.
Cool. So you're moving to Kansas City and you don't know anybody. How would you start?
I think I would join a team for sure.
And why is that?
Well, I've actually never been on a team, but I would do it to get started, to get to know some people, to network, and to get leads so that I can build that clientele.
Kaylin?
All right, so I'm moving to Kansas City now.
Welcome.
So I've really taken to doing circle prospecting and calling neighborhoods where I have listings or just closed transactions with buyers, and knowing how many other offers and how many other buyers that came to that property. I know that, upwards of 7 new properties come on the market within, a couple mile radius of a house that just sells. And so I just put my cute boots to the pavement and start door knocking and making some phone calls and open houses for other agents in the office and making my face known.
So just a couple more questions here and we'll wrap everything up. What do you see the role of the realtor in 5 years?
The role of the realtor in 5 years, I would say a lot of people are worried about technology or things taking over the realtor. That'll only happen if we let it happen. My view on that is technology is great and it has its place. However, you can never replace the process, the home value, the actual market value of a home without a person, without someone really knowledgeable about that particular neighborhood. I don't think we're going anywhere.
Personal touch. Yeah, I don't think we are either.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. So pretty much that's the questions I had for you. We're right on time. Anything else you guys want us to know?
Well, if we want to talk a little bit about YPN, YPN has helped me tremendously getting involved and just networking, getting to know other agents. A lot of my clients, when I write offers, I happen to know the other agent, which works out really well because we have 13,000 agents out here, but there's only a handful that are really active and involved. And when I'm writing an offer and they're on the other end, it's so easy to call them up. Hey, how's it going? I actually bought a home recently, and the other agent was an agent I know personally, so it was so smooth and so awesome. And then just everything YPN does, we're not just the party crew. We do good things as well, but we also have a lot of fun while we do it. So.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll wrap up with a quick YPN thing. I say that it's majorly helped me with my leadership skills, with my interviewing skills with sellers and with buyers. You get thrust into leadership positions and chair positions and holding meetings, and I mean the best agents, they're doing upwards of 30 educational pieces a year, and so the more that we immerse ourselves in our local community and YPN groups, it just makes us better agents and better people, and it makes it a more fun career in industry as well.
Yeah.
Awesome. So thank you both for joining us today and letting us peek a little bit into your business. So we appreciate it, and I think I'm going to see Amber in Washington, D.C. for our next YPN Wednesday in May. We'll be live from Washington, D.C. And I'm Caitlin. You'll be there too? Awesome.
I'll be there to see you all.
So thank you very much. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I thought I was cutting out. No, side note, Caitlin, we're going to go to a baseball game if you want to join us.
Yes. So there. We need
Awesome.
to do that again. Yay.
Baseball's awesome. So thank you guys again, and we'll talk to you later.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay.